It's hard to justify buying more games when I haven't even played all the ones I currently own. So I made a deal to myself that before I buy another game, I'm going to play each and every one of these games. Bioshock. Another classic game that I missed out on in my early years and finally got around to playing. Despite how much praise this game received, however, I felt a little underwhelmed by the whole thing. I'll get into more details, but before I do, I will be discussing the game in its entirety, so spoilers ahead. Bioshock centers around Jack, a man who's literally dropped into this new world in the middle of the Atlantic after his plane crashes. As Jack enters this strange building, you're introduced with a 1940s-esque video that quite frankly brings up some pretty good points about life on the surface and how it essentially sucks.
Is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the poor. No, says the man in the Vatican, it belongs to God. No, says the man in Moscow, it belongs to everyone.
Despite Rapture's illusions of grandeur, however, once you actually enter Rapture, the first thing you see is a murder. Oh, thank goodness your new friend Atlas is here to explain just exactly what the hell happened here.
I don't know how you survived that plane crash, but I've never been one to question Providence.
Basically, Rapture was an attempt by a man named Andrew Ryan to create a utopian society free of government and religion and truly ruled by the people. With no government or religion to hold back scientific research, the people of Rapture discovered a chemical called Adam that helped genetically modify humans. Long story short, a drug that gives people superpowers was created, citizens got addicted, hit the fan, and essentially Rapture lost the war on drugs. So, if you can't beat them, join them. Anyway, because Atlas helps Jack, he asks that Jack helps him in return by rescuing his family and leading their escape from Rapture.
Listen, I've got a family. I need to get them out of here. I know you must feel like the unluckiest man in the world right now, but you're the only hope I'll ever see my wife and child again.
Just as Jack is about to save them, though, Andrew Ryan essentially said, "F*** you," and blew up the ship Atlas's family was in. So, naturally, you gotta kill the motherfucker. Along Jack's path of revenge for some dude he literally just met a few hours ago, he comes across more drug addicts called splicers and pimps called big daddies.
Oh, you think it's funny, bitch? This is pimping here.
While managing the threats all over Rapture, Jack is also faced with an ethical dilemma as he encounters a little sister, these young orphaned girls who have become experiments to help mass produce Adam. This little science project was orchestrated by a man named Frank Fontaine, who, for the sake of simplicity, let's just say he's a real piece of shit.
Fontaine, you don't Fontaine. Fontaine you.
When faced with the little sister, you're given the choice to either harvest the Adam from them, which would give you more Adam for more superpowers. This would, however, kill the child in the process. Or, after being given a plasmid from a woman named Tenenbaum, you can instead choose to rescue the girls, which would result in less Adam for you, but a guilt-free conscience. Also, I just love that this game accurately resembles how children act when you try to help them.
No! 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 No!
You finally get to Andrew Ryan's office where you learn a dark truth about your friend Atlas. Throughout the game, he's constantly used the phrase, "would you kindly," before asking you to do something.
Would you kindly? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find that? Would you kindly find? Would you kindly get this? Would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a bitch?
You discover that this phrase is actually used as a mind control trigger to get you to do Atlas's bidding. And by Atlas, I mean Frank Fontaine.
Name's Frank Fontaine.
Yeah, remember the piece of shit I was talking about from earlier? Yeah, that's him. That's Bioshock, more like Bioshook. So yeah, you realize your whole life's a lie. You're a f***ing slave for Fontaine. So the last real thing you can do is kill that motherfucker now. With the help of Tenenbaum and the children you didn't kill, they help release Jack from Fontaine's brain control, which was really good timing because he definitely tried to get you to fulfill some weird fetish of his.
I says, would you kindly go get stepped on by a big daddy?
Speaking of big daddies, Jack decides the best way to fight Fontaine is to become one. After suiting up and juicing up, Fontaine's reign comes to an end and Rapture is saved. Well, I mean, there's still a massive drug problem with murders left and right, but Jack at least saved it from blowing up. With no more brain control for Jack, as well as the little sisters, Jack decides to adopt a few and return to the surface to allow them to live out their lives. In the end, Jack becomes a real big daddy by blessing his kids with the opportunities of a better life. That is, unless you've been killing the little children throughout the game, in which case, I don't know how your story ends, you monster. I really enjoyed discovering more and more about the lore behind Bioshock. It had very interesting elements of world building without over-explaining everything as you played the game. The world itself was very intriguing. However, like I said in the beginning, I felt a little underwhelmed. The story felt like it dragged after Atlas's fake family's death. My relationship with Atlas also wasn't very developed, and I know it was supposed to be some big betrayal learning Atlas's true identity, but because I never really felt a connection with Atlas, I was just kind of content. It wasn't until the big twist towards the end where I finally felt like the story started to pick up, and the game at least had a strong final act. Despite how I felt about the story, the mechanics were something new to me. Though I've played first-person shooters before, adding the challenge of managing your plasmid abilities on the left hand and your firearm on the right made for interesting combat encounters. I just wish I didn't have to switch hands every damn time to use my powers. I really enjoyed the RPG aspects of this game as well, allowing me to change plasmids and tonics for different style gameplays. To add to that, the way different elements reacted to certain plasmids I used really allowed a lot of versatility when taking on enemies, as I had to keep in mind the elements around me, the plasmid I was using, and the gun I was using. One thing I wish I could have changed though was the hacking. While it was a fun and interesting way of portraying a hack, there was just so much hacking. My goodness, so much hacking. Hacking this and hacking that, and more often than not, being pissed when you get stuck in a weird hack.
Citizen and lined up round the block for plasmids.
But there really wasn't a way around it. You needed to hack to be successful in this game, so you just had to get good at hacking.
Hacker Man. He's the most powerful hacker of all time.
Overall, I enjoyed this game. The world of Bioshock was enough to keep me intrigued enough to continue playing through the story, and still left me wanting more in the end. With that being said, next time my wife asks, I'll be able to say, yes, honey, I've played this game. Now, would you kindly subscribe to my channel and click the notification button?